Get ready to get in the game. Stretch, strengthen, live, and thrive. You can be a winning athlete in the game of life. It's the Peel Appeal with author and corrective exercise specialist Matt Peel.
Hey, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. Welcome to the show. How are you today? What's going on in your world out there? Are you having a good day, a not so good day? I'll tell you what, even if you're not having a not so good day, let me help you make it better today, because we're going to talk about something that's pretty important and is kind of trendy right now on social media. So I'm going to give you the science, because that's what we always do here on the Peel Appeal podcast, is give you the science behind the trends, why things work or why they really don't work. So today is a pretty important topic, like I said, and I'm excited to share it with you because it's about recovery. So picture yourself, you just really kicked your ass in the gym with a hard workout. Or maybe you were playing Weekend Warrior and you had a rough game, a championship game, and you gave it your all, kind of sore. Or as I used to do, an obstacle course race, and those really beat me down. I loved it, but they really beat me down good. So you're trying to think, what do I do? Do I go and hit the cold plunge? Or do I go and hit the sauna or, the heating pad right away? Which one is going to be better for me for recovery? What do you think? Well, let's talk about that, right? Because they both have pros and cons, right? Which is better to use at what point in time? If you go on social media, you're going to find people that say, I only bathe in Arctic water and import a glacier from Norway into my tub, and that's the only way that I can take a bath, right? Kind of crazy shit, I know. But anyways, it seems to be true, right? You see these all sorts of weird people doing things like that. But is that correct? Do you need that glacier cold water every day or right after workout? Or should you go into the sauna or the hot tub and do that right after your workout? So let's talk a little bit about, from a scientific standpoint, what each of them do for you. So let's talk about heat first. What does heat actually do? So heat increases your blood flow. It increases your metabolic rate, or how much you're burning calories. That's your metabolism. It increases tissue extensibility, or your flexibility, but it also increases destructive enzymes, or that's kind of the scientific term for inflammation. So heat increases inflammation, but it also decreases joint and muscle stiffness, right? Because you know how good you feel after you put a heating pad on. People like to sleep on a heating pad if they really have low back problems. That seems to help them out. So examples of heat, like I said, are heating pad, or maybe a dry sauna, or even getting into the hot tub. So that's what heat does. Let's flip now to cold. What does cold do? Well, cold increases oxygen uptake. It increases blood flow 10 minutes after you finish using your cold source, whether it's a cold plunge or cold bath or in a cold shower. And it also increases your catabolic rate, or your metabolic rate, I should say. Increase your catabolic rate, not your metabolic rate. It decreases pain, and it decreases your metabolic rate for injury prevention. Cold also decreases blood flow in the first 10 minutes of using that. And then, like I just mentioned, after 10 minutes, your blood flow increases. It decreases inflammation or the destructive enzymes, but it also decreases tissue extensibility, or your ability to be flexible and stretch your muscles. You know that if you've ever played sports or run on a cold morning, that's why you got to warm up. and you're really tight and you can't move around as well in the cold, right? Because it decreases that tissue extensibility. So what are examples of it? Or like I said, the cold plunge, an ice bath, a cold shower, anything like that. You don't need the glacier in your bathroom to get get a cold plunge. Trust me, throw some ice in there and you got it, no problem, right? So those are what heat and cold do for you. Now, again, both have positive, both have some negatives. What do you want, or what is best for you at what point in time, since they have some similarities, but then also some big time differences, especially with that tissue extensibility. So what should you do first and how long? Well, let's look at it from a scientific standpoint here. So the science and what the former president of NASM, this National Academy of Sports Medicine, which is who I have my certification through, that guy's name is Mike Clark. He says that both have validity and both can be used in moderation. So what does that mean? Well, moderation obviously means not extreme, not only doing the glacial rub on your naked body, right? That may not necessarily be what you need all the time. And again, conversely, not always just jumping into the dry sauna and sweating your ass off for 45 minutes after your workout. So let's talk about what exercise does first, and then we can kind of build a recovery program for you on that. So exercise produces inflammation initially, right? That's because we're putting blood into the muscles, we're pumping them, we're making them contract, we're giving them what you feel, that pump. We're using your muscles, we're increasing our metabolic rate, we're increasing, how much we're respirating, and we're breathing heavy, and usage, and we're fatigued. So if we want to reduce the inflammation and the blood flow post-workout to help begin our recovery and injury prevention, well, then we just look at the science, right? And so we use cold. So we want to do cold first. And I have firsthand experience with it. After my obstacle course races, I would go to the cold plunge and I'd put Tool, if you know who the band Tool is, I put Tool into my on Spotify, the song Crawl Away. That was right about 5 minutes long, and then I would just go to my happy place, listen to it, because it's a very fast-paced song. And when that song was up, boom, I was out of there. So about 5 minutes in for me, and then I felt a lot better. Then, like I said, 10 minutes after that, hey, blood flow returns again, oxygen uptake increases and occurs. It decreases my joint and muscle stiffness. I felt really good afterwards, right? After your body gets back to normal. So after you do that and you still feeling some soreness, maybe later on that night, you can use some heat. You can use that in a later recovery session to increase your tissue extensibility, reduce your pain, reduce your joint stiffness. And at that point in time, you probably do want to increase your blood flow for some better movement in a later recovery session. Sure, it's also safe to alternate as you see fit based on your pain, based on your soreness, your inflammation, maybe the timing of your next workout or the timing of your next game. So the other thing I want to stress about this is that this can be done really for teenage athletes too. It's not just adults that get the benefits of cold and heat. So if you have a son or grandson or daughter or granddaughter that is into sports and into playing competitively and needs some recovery, you can help use these methods with them also. So again, remember, exercise produces inflammation initially. We want to reduce that blood flow first with cold. Then we can also later on treat that with heat to bring us back up to having tissue extensibility, pain reduction, increased blood flow for movement. So I suggest cold first, and then a few hours later, if you still need something, or later on that night, for example, then you can go back to heat. If you still feel that you're kind of inflamed and sore a little bit, maybe try back some of that cold again, and then reintroduce heat later on. So, hope you learned something today about recovery with cold and heat. If you like what you hear, then I suggest you subscribe to the Peel to Peel podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts, like it, share it, comment on it, tell your friends about it. And then after that, you should probably go read my book, The Athlete in the Game of Life. You can go to my website and order it through there, mattpeel.com, or you can go straight to Amazon and order it there. So, this is Matt Peel with the Peel Appeal podcast. Until next time, I will see you later.
Are you ready to get in the game? Get personal help, sign up for our newsletter, and pick up your copy of Athlete in the Game of Life, the book, all at mattpeel.com. Thanks for listening.